CNN's conservative commentator Scott Jennings shocked his co-panelists by stating that under Elon Musk, X is more politically neutral than it was previously. When he was asked to cite his sources, Jennings replied, CNN. Let's watch.
I heard what you're saying about X. I saw a survey this week. It's now the most ideologically balanced user platform.
Scott,
of any platform.
stop. It's too early. I just sat down. I've only been here for 2 minutes.
You're going to be embarrassed
cannot
when
continue
I tweet
to
out
say
after the show, but
you
it's
cannot
true.
say that.
So,
That's not the case.
So
Who's the source?
What I find, we reported it on this network.
It's not accurate, and you know it.
Okay, I'll let you make your statement.
Scott,
but my point is
can I reframe it a different way? Because the site changed radically, right? So whether you think the voices it is somehow more balanced now, that's fine. But no doubt Musk's influence is profound, and that you open it up and now you're there with his opinion, and he is now part of this administration. So does anyone else think that there should be this greater concern about billionaires purchasing media companies?
Okay. Would you be worried if Bill Gates controlled MSNBC?
No, because he's sane.
Because MS...
You can probably guess what I'm going to criticize here. Very wealthy people being in charge of media companies was never a problem before for any of these people. But now there's one who's very right-leaning and Trump-supporting, who has his own media platform, and it's very bad, but I don't think there was a lot of panic from the CNN or MSNBC crowd, who they're organizations owned by wealthy people or beholden to wealthy advertisers or corporate interests, which, as I explained in my monologue, I don't particularly think is a bad or pernicious influence. It's just reality. But Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. Mark Zuckerberg owns Facebook, something that was, now he has certainly tilted it in, I would argue, a more neutral direction, and I'm a fan of the things Mark Zuckerberg has done recently in particular, but going back to the Obama years, it was hailed and celebrated for how important it was to the Obama campaign going back to 2008. When social media, so this is my criticism, when social media, massive media, new media, when it was all being harnessed for liberal or progressive causes, it was all fine. But now that conservative people are actually succeeding on it, legacy media is suddenly, oh no, this is a disaster. Is that fair?
Well, it seems to be fair based on that. I was not watching CNN last night or wherever we drew that clip from, so I haven't seen it in its entirety. I don't think it is that controversial to say that Elon Musk has radically changed what was once Twitter and what is now X. And those changes do, I think, include the foregrounding of more broadly conservative voices than they did in the past. Now, the thing that I would push back on, and it goes back to your radar, actually. We didn't get the chance earlier in the earlier segment to discuss this idea that Elon Musk said, you are the media to the users of X, or I guess the users of social media more broadly. And I don't completely disagree with that, but I think my issue is that makes him a media proprietor in the way that, whether it's Jeff Bezos or Rupert Murdoch is the obvious example of a person who liberals did have and do have a lot of trouble with having the influence that he holds. And I would say this about Musk and X. He is running a massively important platform, for good or for bad, at the same time as he has massive business with the federal government, as you and I have discussed before, billions of dollars in contracts. And he is, at least arguably, making X more supportive of a particular candidate who won the recent election. I do think there are legitimate questions about someone, regardless of their ideology, using a media platform, even a social media platform, to promote political figures who are going to be helpful to their business interests.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think you can probably make that same argument, though, about Jeff Bezos and what he did with the Washington Post. There's someone who is the owner, et cetera, of Amazon, who maybe could have expected regulation of Amazon during the first Trump administration of a more populist Trump bent than previous Republicans, adopted the whole democracy dies in darkness framing, went whole hog on anti-Trump stuff. You can argue that that was in his business interest. I've never cared. I think that's totally fine that he does that. He bought the newspaper. It's his now. He can do what he wants with it. Same goes for Elon. In terms of Elon making X more conservative, so I do agree with you that X is basically a media property. Elon is the owner of it, and you're right to wonder about the unique level of influence he has over Donald Trump and whether that's going to translate to. I'm more concerned with that in other fields, like favorable policies for electric vehicles or something else, than I am really about his management of the social media site, which is pretty. The regulations there are pretty. Not regulated because it's a speech-related platform, right? We have pretty ironclad protections under First Amendment, Section 230, et cetera. It has become more conservative, the site, certainly, since Elon taking over the content on it. But whether that's, what comes first, the chicken or the egg here, because there has been something of an exodus of liberal and progressive users.
Sure.
And so what remains are people who want to engage with more conservative content, and so the algorithm is feeding the new user base more conservative content. I think that is more to the story than Elon Musk constantly flipping I think he might have flipped a switch to promote his own content more. It's his site. He's like, I want everybody to see what I have to say.
Sure.
I don't know that he flipped a switch to say, show more content from Republicans or conservative stuff in general. I think that's the feedback loop of the user base changing and wanting more of that kind of stuff. I mean, it used to happen on Facebook, too, where with no desire from management to push conservative content whatsoever. But I used to argue with conservatives about this back when they were more likely to attack Facebook, actually, than anything else. Before hating Facebook became, I think, more of a Democratic thing because of Russia stuff. Prior to 2016, so many conservatives screaming about Facebook, and I say, look, guys, look at you can see it. What are the top 10 links performing on stories on Facebook today? It's something from the Daily Wire, the Daily Caller, the Blaze, Fox News, Breitbart, etc. This is the most important platform for delivering right-of-center news right now. And you want to break it? It doesn't even make any sense. So that without Facebook trying to intentionally promote those sites or those messages, the user base hungered for it.
Sure.
So I expect a similar thing has happened on Twitter.
I do think there is validity to that argument on that the algorithm is going to serve up what the audience is looking for because they want to keep people engaged. I do wonder, though, in terms of, yes, Elon owns it, and if someone owns something, they can do what they wish with it. But I do think in terms of just overall, the idea of it being a forum for debate. So they're not going to tell us exactly what the specifics of their algorithmic changes are, but just on a very basic level, you had the change in the verification system. Now, you could debate one way or another the old verification system and whether it elevated people sort of unjustly. But now you have a pay-for-verification system. The people who are most inclined to give that money are people who like Elon Musk, and the people who like Elon Musk are broadly more likely to share his politics. So therefore you have a sort of artificial elevation, to my mind, of that kind of view.
There's also I think the site giving, verification to notable people to protect against fraud, which you used to do and now you have to pay for it. Yeah, that's a change I'm not sure that I did love. However, I do love the monetization of your own tweet. People are now getting paid for their contributions to the site. I turned on monetization to see what it'd be like. Not that I need more money or I'm starving out there at all.
More money for Mr.
It's nice to you're creating on the platform, and to get a share of that back is and there's people making who started out with less notoriety than me and have really turned it into a successful career and get paid a lot more money than I do from doing it, and I think that's cool and healthy and was a good idea of Elon's.
We're probably running out of time, I think, but do you not think there's an incentive to provide inflammatory comment under that system?
Well, again, that goes to my earlier commentary during my radar that yes, but that's the same incentive that just exists on all media formats, to have something sensational and viral, and we feel that, unless you're the most boring, like local news radio or something, you feel no desire or need to shock. It titillates your audience, you're fine, but everywhere else, we got to keep you people entertained. Are you not entertained? Oh, I saw the second Gladiator movie last night.
Oh, did you? And? Were you entertained?
No, it was terrible. I hated it. It was really bad. Maybe I'll share more of those thoughts coming up next. Stay tuned. More Rising on the way.